Welcome, I'm Bev Adams. I own an independent paper crafting business showcasing products from Stampin' Up! I made this beautiful card with products from Stampin' Up! I sell these products and also a few items to make crafting more convenient. I have the free detailed directions for this project on my website, and I'll also have links for the products I used to be taken to my online store at Stampin' Up! You'll see where to find all of that at the end of this video, so don't worry about taking notes. It's time to put stamps, ink, and paper together. For this project, I used Blessings of Home and the Flowers of Home dies. If you buy them together as a bundle, you'll save yourself 10%. I also used the Time Worn 3D embossing folder and Go To Greetings. My cardstock is a piece of Daffodil Delight that's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and a piece of Fresh Freesia at 4 by 5 1/4, and 2 pieces of Basic White that's 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm using Memento ink, and you'll need some Stampin' Dimensionals. The first thing we want to do is measure off about 1 1/4 inches on the bottom and draw a very light line. And you have to really look even in real life to see this line. And first thing we want to do is stamp the thank you, or another one of the greetings from Go To Greetings, or another fairly large greeting of your choice. And we want it kind of centered in this 1 1/4 inch section. And then with the large flower, I really think it's going to be easiest to stamp it with the Stamparatus. If you want to stamp it with a block, you can. You'll need the E block for this one. And we want it to come down into this section that we marked off, but we want it to be above the letters. So right about there. And we'll ink that up. We're going to be coloring with Stampin' Blends, and so the Memento ink is the recommended ink for that. This stamp is really nice because I think it looks nice either side up or the long side up. Oh, so pretty. I love it. And then I'm going to stamp the smaller flower on the inside piece. You could use the Stamparatus for this as well. And really this could go anywhere, but I'll put it over here. And then we're going to color these. I'm coloring all of the leaves and the stems with the Stampin' Blends. And just to be extra careful, you want some paper underneath because it can bleed through. So I start out with the dark, and I'm just coloring the veins, basically the center lines on the leaves. And I'm trying to get them all. Invariably, I'll spot a leaf I missed when I go to fill in the rest of it. There's several things here that I don't know for sure whether these are leaves or petals. And it won't matter at all if you choose to do it different than I did. And then I'm coming back in with the lighter green, and I'm not being all that careful about blending, but if I just color in these shapes, it pretty much blends it. If it leaves the lines pretty solid, that's okay too. I think I decided that this one was a leaf as well. But again, that certainly could be a petal. It's hard to tell for me. So I decided to use the Granny Apple Green, the Balmy Blue, Fresh Freesia, and Daffodil Delight on this card. I used the dark Daffodil Delight for the centers of all the flowers. And I'm not really blending those, I'm just coloring it. Then I colored these little flowers and these flowers with the Balmy Blue. And again, I started with the dark. Just kind of I went around the center of the flowers, and the flowers are already kind of shaded for you. So if you put your dark blue where the shadow is, that will be pretty good. I try not to have a solid line. I try to kind of stick out some points every now and then. I think that will help with the shading and the blending. So I'm really just kind of scribbling really quickly. And then I'm blending in with the light. Some people like to start with the light and then add the darker and then come back and blend. Everybody's got their own kind of method with the Stampin' Blends. I don't think there's any wrong way to do it. You can use them just like a regular coloring without doing the shading and the shadowing if you'd like. But the darker shades really do add a lot more almost realism to it. And then these flowers, and I don't know what kind of flowers they are. I'm doing the same thing, but I'm using Fresh Freesia for them. So again, starting with the shadowy areas and fill in with the light. I forgot to color my blue flowers over here. I mean, I suppose you could take longer to color, but I think just quick, scribbly kind of coloring, it kind of looks more artistic actually. If you go out of the lines, if you go out of the lines just a little bit, that's totally fine. But I pretty much stay in the line. So I'll go ahead and put this on the inside. And I always, when I'm using the Stampin' Blends, include a layer. So I color on the layer so you don't see the back of that on anything, because they do bleed through a little bit. Not much. I mean, I didn't bleed through on my paper down here. I've raised my camera a little bit so you can see the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine a little bit better. And I'm going to emboss the Fresh Freesia layer. So I want just the platform and the number 4 gray plate. And I want to put in my paper horizontally. And cover it with the gray plate and roll it through. And this is a nice subtle general background. There are letters, and you can pick out a couple of words in here, but I don't think it's meant to be any kind of legible writing, so Don't worry if you can't read it. And for my die cutting, I need the number 2 plate, my cut up plate, my clear plate, and I want my cardstock, and I have some retired washi tape. So I want to get this placed on here. If you start with these 2 leaves and then kind of check the rest of them, take that down, and I'm taping from the die to my part that I'm going to cut off, so that if the tape sticks, it sticks to the part I don't want. And then I want to put the beveled edge of the plate over where our line is. That line, the 1 1/4 inch. And now I'm going to roll it through, and that's going to just partially cut that die. It may cut more than I want, but the idea is it shouldn't cut all the way through, and actually I think it did a nice job. So I want this part here to be connected still. Bringing you back down, and now I'm going to cut on that line, on that pencil line, up to the die cut. And then erase any of the line that you can see. Probably won't even show up where we cut if we cut right on the line. So now we just need to adhere our front. And you can, I like to use the liquid glue for embossed layers. And we'll use Stampin' Dimensionals for this piece. I like to use lots of dimensionals, probably more than I need. And then just put this on the front, matching the corners. And that's it. I thought about using ribbon, I thought about using gems, I thought about even using Wink of Stella, and you could use all of those, but I kind of liked the simple layers with using the textures. So it looks kind of elaborate, but it doesn't take long to make. Here is the web address for this project, where you'll find the free directions and links for the products I used. You can click individual products or the Add All to the cart. You will be able to remove products you don't need or add more products. I have lots of resources on my website. Most of them are free. It's easy to miss some of those resources or to get lost exploring. Let me take you on a quick tour. Just under the banner image are 6 links. Under Shop, you'll find links to the products from Bev, Shopping Strategies, my frequent shopping points, and a sampling from the clearance rack. Under Inspiration, you can link to scroll all of my projects since 2011. The products may be retired, but you may be inspired by a layout, color combination, or a technique. I have the basics, where I've written about stamps, ink and paper, cutting, adhesives, and my favorite tools. You'll find a link to Techie Tips and an easy link back to my latest post. Click on Getting Organized, and you'll find some of my resources for stamp case slips, product labels, large labels for designer series paper, and more. Case inserts for dies, embellishments, and anything I think might fit in a stamp case, including ink refills. You'll also find color tools and charts, a practically free stamp pad storage solution, tabs and a quick reference for the annual catalog, and plans for toolkits. I have a video of my craft wall and more. Click on Evernote Current Products and you can learn how to share my notebook. This notebook has a note for every current product from Stampin' Up! It allows you to search by color, image, product type, word, phrase, or event, and more. I include French, German, and Dutch names and numbers when available, and the prices for all the markets. Evernote synchronizes on your phone, tablet, and or your desktop or laptop computer, so you can look through the Stampin' Up! Catalog from anywhere, anytime. You can copy my notes for the products you own so you can find just what you're looking for. When products retire, I move them to the Retired Products Notebook, which I also share, and I host a notebook for Paper Pumpkin. Click on Sip Together and then Let's Stamp to come stamp with me or join my Sip Together team. There's also a link to learn a bit about me. The sitemap will help you navigate all these links from one page. And there are quick links along the side of my page. Shop Now takes you to my online store at Stampin' Up! You'll see the current host code. It would be a great help to me if you use that if you are ordering less than $150. You can click on the current catalogs to page through them online. And then there are my links to my 5 most recent posts. Thank you very much for stopping by and hope to see you soon.